Hi, Karl, Griggs, CPC Finance. Today I'm at Glenhawk's offices with Jamie Pritchard, Managing Director of Sales, to run over a bit of background, a bit of what Glenhawk are doing and predictions for this year. So I'll let Jamie introduce himself.
Yeah, hi Karl, thanks. Yeah, it's great to have you in our offices as well. So yeah, I'm Managing Director of Sales here at Glenhawk. Glenhawk have been a bridging lender for the last 5 years, built from the experience of Guy Harrington and Nick Hilton in the business and in bridging and property, and we've got a really good team here of about around 50. I always forget the number.
Yeah.
About 50, but in those 5 years as well, we know we've done things really quickly, in the sense of, which is a bridging term, I suppose, doing things quickly. But
Yeah.
we've won Bridging Lender of the Year for the last 3 years as well, and the first lender to do that.
We've got the trophies on show.
Well-positioned trophies here, which will, which show how good we are. But Bridging Lender, really good products, and we can go into what I think of this year, but we're really buoyant about this year.
A bit like that. So what would you say the ethos of Glenhawk is?
It's just, I think that word culture is bandied around a lot, but, culture's that thing you don't usually talk about. It's not just going and just all enjoying each other's time, but it's about everybody. I always say it's that we're not a train, we don't accept passengers. Everyone knows what their role is. Everybody is driving towards the customer journey and having that repeat business. Everyone comes here with a smile on their face. Everyone seems to really enjoy doing everything right for the intermediary, like yourself,
Yeah.
Karl, and the customer, because not all cases are not simple. Yeah, so we've always got that driving mentality
I would say
to
in
try
your
and do the
market,
case.
every case is different.
Every case is different.
Yeah.
Every case is different, and it's understanding each what our roles are. But in a 50-person company, we've all got multiple roles as well. So we all know what we want to be doing, driving forward. But it's for that customer and to try and get that repeat business.
What would you say, in an ideal world, is your perfect customer?
Perfect customer is someone who's got a semblance of experience of doing what they want with the project. So I wouldn't do a single asset lend. I'll let other lenders do that. So they've got a background in property, whether that's one.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that you have to have, if you want to do a HMO or HMO conversion, but you've only had residential single family lets, that's fine, because that's the journey that probably that business plan takes you. Average loan size that we've got here is around £750,000. So that's 750 to 1.5 million is a great mark. However, we do loans from £100,000 as well.
Yeah.
So it just shows you the
Also, that 750, that would include, say, the refurb work as well, not just the day one loan.
Yeah, I probably scare people with that number now, especially if they're trying to buy up north where I live.
Yeah.
We're in London today, but I live up north, so you could probably buy a county in Wales for that amount of money. But they exactly that. Buying a property that needs that refurbishment because you're trying to maximise, what that can yield, or just to maximise what you could flip it out to as well. So that can be 100% of the works, up to 75% of the day one, and keep on going.
And again, going back to not just the one deal, you would then be looking to encourage repeat business, same clients, build up a portfolio with them over a period of time.
There's a lot of lenders in the market, and I think when you get used to using a lender, it's actually what fits you, isn't it, and what fits your makeup. So when we understand a customer, you've got that confidence that the deal can go through even quicker, on time. But it's not just about speed, I don't think, bridging. It's about knowing that it's going to be funded. So when you know that we've funded a deal and we understand you as a customer, you've got confidence to put your hand up at an auction, put the bid in, and know that you're going to be able to effectively execute that deal.
You did mention a short while ago that there's other lenders out there.
Yeah.
So how do you find the market at the moment?
So I'm well known for always saying that I don't think there's much, in a sense, competition. Now, that's not an arrogant phrase. What I mean by that is I think there's enough bridging business out there that we as lenders need to actually generate ourselves. So I don't think customers see always bridging as the viable solution that it can be.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot more, let's put it this way. There's lots of TV programs that show you how to buy and build properties and some excellent things that Savoy's put on there. But, those programs never tell you how to finance it. And the answer is generally bridging. So I think as brokers and customers, there's a lot more business. How do I find it with competitors? I think, we all do little things slightly differently.
Yeah.
So, I welcome the competition in that sense.
It helps things grow. See, historically, bridging was a bad name.
Yeah.
And the market's evolved so much since then that it's now a tool of the trade if you're going to build a portfolio properly. There's still people that think that bridging's too dear and will do anything not to take it.
Yeah.
My view is that if it's worked correctly and you do what not you as the lender, you as the client do what you say you're going to do,
Yeah.
it's cheap finance.
Well, there's two things in that, and I couldn't agree with you more. I think if it was a brand, you know, it would have been relabeled by now. So I actually refer to it a lot as transitional finance.
Yeah.
It's a way of getting you to A to C, and the cheesy bit is that's the B in the middle is the bridging, but it's transitional finance. And the second thing is, you know, myth busting, let's call it. As people say it's expensive, but if you want to buy a property, do the refurb, and then create wealth out of it, and have created some really good asset, it's a considered business cost.
Yeah, and apart from having a load of money in the bank, it's the only way that you should do it correctly anyway.
Someone said to me the other day, they said, auctions, would you use bridging for that? I said, well, there's only two things I would use, cash or bridging, which is effectively cash.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And now you brought up Savoy's. They have built their whole portfolio on using bridging.
Yeah.
And we find that when we do speak to other clients about it that want to get on the ladder, they think, oh no, I don't want bridging. But you have to look deeper than what it is. And as I say, if you use it properly, it is the stepping stone at the start of any property journey.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned Glenhawk earlier, you know, and I'm going to bring that into Savoy's, is that, you know, I couldn't run this business on my own because I'm not experienced at compliance. So you definitely wouldn't want me underwriting deals because I'd probably say yes to everything, you know. So you have to always have a really good team around you. And the same way with Savoy's, if you're inexperienced but you know that your goal is to buy property and do them up, you need to wrap your business plan around good people. Savoy's being one of them, good legal teams the other, knowing who the valuers are, great lenders like ourselves, you know, great brokers like yourself, and all of that is your team.
And I think one of the things, particularly where legals are concerned and so on, is don't cut corners to save money.
Nope.
A cheap lawyer is a cheap lawyer for a reason.
Yep.
And it's not a bridging is not a standard residential mortgage.
No.
So they do charge more, but not in the long run, because by the time they've got it through quicker to a solicitor that doesn't know what they're doing and charge you every time they pick the phone or a letter,
Correct.
the cost that works out more or less probably dearer.
Your customers, they maybe, if they're thinking of it for the first time, their only experience of doing a mortgage, maybe that Halifax one they got, NatWest, whoever that may be, you know, the same lawyer who did that transaction is not your lawyer of choice, maybe on bridging.
Well, the common thing we get is, oh, he's a solicitor I've always used. Yeah, but that's to buy a residential property, or family solicitor who doesn't know commercial or doesn't know the bridging route. And I find that one of the biggest stumbling blocks. It delays the deals.
It does delay the deal, and it actually, you know what it's like then. You know, it always becomes our problem.
Yeah.
Because they'll say your lawyer or the lawyer on the transaction, and that can actually give the whole deal a bad taste. Where, you know, selecting, so using yourself who knows which lawyers to use or not, and that could be particular deals. There could be a lawyer that's good on bridging, but maybe not as good on the development deals. Yeah, there's even lawyers of choice when it breaks down, because bridging's quite a wide topic now, isn't it? And
on the areas it covers, you know, the commercial, the HMOs, the development. There's all different stuff.
Well, we were talking the other day, and I was doing a deal and I knew who to recommend on a share purchase acquisition. Someone who's got experience of buying a limited company and the shares within it, you know, and the tax advisor that you need in that. That was all within this particular lawyer, who I knew had experience doing it.
Moving on slightly then, so what's your predictions for this year?
Easy for you to say.
Yeah. Got that one out in the end.
Well, you know, I think predictions are that Liverpool needs a new manager, don't they? You know, that's the sad part. The good parts are that I'm really buoyant to what this year's going to bring. I think we've obviously still got the wars that are going out there. Unfortunately, that's plural now out in the world. And what will that affect with trade? And, you know, we're still finding the effects of Brexit and all the other things. But people always want to buy property. It's that thing that you can touch and feel. No one really understands how their pensions or investments work. It's something that's tangible that you can do. And
everyone can relate to it. As you said, you've got the TV programmes, you've got the social media of everybody that's doing it. And people want to jump on the bandwagon.
So funding remains strong. I think we've got a levelling out of where the base rate is. You know, inflation when we've recorded this is still 2% above where the government wants, but that's their unrealistic target. Yeah. You know, even, you know, they've reported that there was a recession, and there is a recession in that sense. But again, the world's going on. funders have really got appetite to fund lenders like Glenhawk, and you know, this isn't 2008. There's not enough properties on the market. Those who are not able to buy property have to rent it. So for your investors, I think there's a change in dynamics out there where people may be wanting to live in HMOs. They can't live in a big property on their own, and nor do they need to.
And they still want to move out.
Yeah.
You know, and if anything, what has affected it is the residential mortgage, because rates are slightly higher, that incomes haven't gone up, so they can't borrow as much. So someone buying a property this time last year was probably got to put in another 10-15% that they haven't got. So they still want to move out, so they'll rent.
Correct. And you know, and some of the high street lenders are getting savvy to their affordability calculators that you actually aren't able to afford as much now because they're putting into it the cost of living and all these things which are actually dragging down your affordability.
Yep.
So maybe, you know, you have to save up for longer, and rent is that way. Great news for investors.
Yep.
The other thing that you have to mention is that obviously there is people who are suffering out there, and they have to, you know, downsize.
Yeah.
But that means there's properties out there that can deal. So I'm seeing a lot of below market value transactions going out there, which again, bridging can help with.
Help on. I think there's two other things also which will keep it pushing up, is because of the rents, the demand, that push the rents up.
Yeah.
Push the rents up, it pushes everything else up. The other thing is, which is happened this week, is the changes in some of the planning, which means that people are going to look more demand for the commercials to convert, which again can push the prices up on those, because it'll be a competitive market. Yeah. But again, they need them bridging to buy them to convert them.
You know, the government get a bad rap, and so they should in some areas. But I think all types of colours of the political. That's not a political statement. But you know, there is some good things that come in, like you said. The PD for commercial to residential has really helped the SMEs. So it's not about sitting on a piece of land now and wanting to get planning when costs of materials are going soaring. You don't know when you can actually execute that deal. Yeah. PD with a 56-day prior approval, so you don't have to go through the planning, can really help out doing the uppers. And I'm really interested to see this year whether that paper gets pushed through. It may be used as a political football as we get towards election, but where you can buy a terrace property and convert it into 2 flats, I really hope that comes through as well.
Yeah, and obviously waiving the 3-month rule as well, vacant on commercial, so you can actually buy a commercial with tenant in, as long as you know when they're getting out. You can be ready to go.
As long as you're ethical about it and all those different ways. But you know, I've been a massive supporter of the PD changes, because I think there's been a lot of drive out of city centres, and I always liken it to say living on the continent, where you should have residential around the commercial. And I think it'll boost the commercial shops as well.
Well, of course
that
it
you
will,
won't be pushing out of town. So I think it'll bring the city and town centres back alive. I just wanted it to go into Wales as well as England, obviously, as you can tell from my accent.
All right, that's really good to speak with you, and thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Karl.
And if you want to catch up on anything, look out for the normal social media outlets.